Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Britton's Hangout Hour episode 156, which will likely be the penultimate episode that I record in 2025 because, we are nearing Christmas and it's a time people get busy. I'm here with Noelle
Yeah,
D. How are you doing this fine afternoon slash evening, wherever you're at?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited that you invited me on. It's always really fun when people invite me onto their channels because I feel like I'm always the one doing the inviting. So when I get invited, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
I know what you mean though, because I always have to invite people. I'm like, oh, they're gonna say yes. So yeah,
Yeah, or you message them on Instagram and then they don't message back.
yeah. I was trying to get
We'll do that.
I was trying to get Mike on the show for 150. I sent him like 4 emails over the course of like 3 weeks, and it just didn't come together.
Oh,
I guess
really?
he didn't see it for whatever reason, but
He has been like traveling and doing stuff like that and the gala and everything recently, and he was traveling for another thing I think before that or after that. So
this was back in
I have
like
no idea.
October though, so
Okay, yeah, I have no
September.
idea.
But yeah, so yeah, you have a booktube channel. You also talk about manga
Mhm.
as well.
Yep. I have a manga channel. That one is Noelle of Elbaf, and then I have just a regular channel, which is Noelle D.
Yeah, you've been
So
doing this thing for a little bit now, so
I have
you've
probably about
become.
like 2 or 3 years.
I know you've kind of become like friendly with some of the like Tom Orange
Hmm.
and Jake from Nerd Level Rising. I saw you guys had a conversation about something.
Yes, By Blood by Salt by JL Odom. It
That's right.
was Tom, Jake, and Chance and myself, and we talked with JL Odom herself.
That's right. That's right.
Hmm.
I've not read that book yet. She's another one I've been trying to pin down to get on the show. It just hasn't happened yet. I also want to read By Blood by Salt at some point because I know that's been kind of making the rounds on the internet.
Yeah, you definitely should. It was a good book, and then even better having talked with the author
Mm.
because she explained all these things in her own way, and there were things that I didn't even realize until she said them, and then it clicked, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're right. Like this is true for, this character or that character." And so if you do get a chance to um read the book anytime soon and have her on the channel, definitely have her on the channel afterwards so that you can talk with her about that book because she has some great things to say.
Yeah, I generally try to have authors on when talking about their books. Indie anyway, when it's like trad pub,
Yeah.
unless I know them from somewhere, they usually don't talk to me. But I've been seeing some people on BookTube talking with like pretty noted authors like Adrian Tchaikovsky and whatnot. And I asked one of my friends who
Hmm.
did that once. He talked to like Scott Lynch, and I'm like, how'd you do that? And
Oh, that's so cool.
he's like over a half year of emailing him about coming on my channels, how it went down. I'm like, oh well, all right then.
Yeah, I've seen Steven Erickson around on some channels too.
Yeah, yeah. I read Gardens of the Moon. Damn it,
Recently, right?
when did I read that? I think it was back in like October. Not October. No, not
Okay,
October. It
absolutely.
was about like August or so, late summertime. But it's kind of that
Okay.
September. I think September actually. Now that I think about it, but I read it. I was like, okay. And then after reading
What
it,
do you
I'm
think
like,
about it?
I'm gonna take a break from reading like capital E epic fantasy for a while and just stick with some standalones.
Mm.
And everyone's like, no, read Dead House Gates. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to wait for it. And I'm like, so, yeah. I don't know if you've read any Malzahn or know what I'm
I
talking
just
about.
started.
Oh, you did?
I just started.
Oh, you
Like
have the same copy I do.
I'm like this far. I really like the mass market paperback, except I'm a type of person who doesn't like to crack their spine. So I'm literally like reading it like this at night. like
Yeah,
trying to.
it's that's the annoying part of having my Gentleman Bastard cop books look like that. They're just real small, and it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, mine is too. And then they come out with the trade paperbacks after I've already bought the first one. It was like a year after I read the first one. Then they finally came out with the trade paperbacks. And I was like, well, actually, I have grown comfortable and used to the old
Yeah,
covers. And I'm like, well,
exactly.
now I don't want the new covers. They look a little more cartoony, and I like all the colors on them, but I like the vibes of the editions that I have
Yeah, I remember
because it
Tori
feels more.
of Tori Talks fame was complaining about that the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I mean, I don't really care either way, but I can see how some people might
Mhm.
get. I can see a reasoning. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, the vibe isn't right. Like it feels like the cover's almost like more happy than what the
Yeah.
books are. Like they feel like they could be YA covers,
Mm-hmm.
and it just doesn't give off the right vibe. But I
Yeah, I
think
actually just put out. I
the
just
one with the
actually
Venice scene, like
actually.
the one with the red lettering, the mass market paperback,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah, I
that one
actually have
fits
it
the
up
vibe.
here, but I don't
Hmm.
want to pull it out. Yeah, no, it's funny you say that. I was at my local bookshop yesterday, and I saw they had uh damn it a similar type of cover, but it's for the Jade trilogy, at least the first book. Because I'm hoping
Mm,
to. I am making one exception to what I'm hoping to my fantasy standalone thing I'm doing next in 2026. I do want to read the Jade Saga, the Greenbone Saga, I think
okay.
is what it's called. Hoping to read that.
Yeah, I want to read that too. I haven't yet, but it sounds very up my alley. I think it would be a nice break too from the books that I do want to read next year, which is like Malazan and the Wheel of Time. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
if I read like a shorter a shorter kind of series that I would be, and
So
it's
you're reading
completely
like
different
the
setting too.
two like thickest fantasy series next year. That's crazy.
It's a goal. It's not like I don't really do hard TBRs because I can't, because I'm also like 1 for 2 on buddy reads and also 1 for 2 on like early release copy books, like reading it at the time I was supposed to read it. So I'm like 50% whether I'm going to read the book or not. And so you're in college going to graduate soon, right? Because
Yeah,
I
I'm
saw
I'm actually
you have a
graduating
stream like
on as of the
the
recording of this.
12th,
I'm going to
right?
be graduating on Saturday, but
Okay,
I'm going to be
great.
streaming about it
Well,
on Friday.
congratulations.
So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did see that there was a stream on there because I was going to ask about that. But congratulations. That's awesome. I still
thank
have
you.
like a year left to go.
It's
So,
it's wild. Honestly, it was a crazy semester, and I'm like, yeah, I guess this is what last semester feels like. And my dad and I were talking last night. He's like, I see you got a 0 in some of these. And I'm like, oh god, yeah, yeah. I that was just the one time. It didn't happen again. He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "I'm very sure." And he's like, "Okay." And then that was the end of that.
yeah,
And then I went to my office and completed a book. So it was, a good evening for me.
yeah, that does sound pretty nice. I actually didn't read that much because of that of college for me. That if I wasn't doing something schoolwork related, I felt like I was wasting my time. I was like, why am I reading when I could be, studying or doing these school assignments that aren't due for a week.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I just took a bunch of writing classes, so I had a little more wiggle room. So it wasn't like life or death, right? Because I'm going for a journalism degree. They call it professional
Oh,
media.
okay.
I don't know why, but I guess that's a
Resume,
nice
maybe. I
bland
don't know. Yeah.
encapsulating term for it. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, so it wasn't like I was going out and recording stuff like I would in some of my journalism classes.
Yeah. That sounds like a pretty cool degree, though. Did you have a fairly good time, like
I did,
learning and
yeah.
doing classes?
Oh yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, we record stuff. My college had a news station, so I worked there for a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Um, it was a lot of fun. Actually, watching some of the other news stations at some of the other colleges because they weren't as well put together as ours was. So, good bragging rights there. Even though I was just kind of, because me, I'm a very like low effort guy. Like, just give me like a camera job or something, and just like hold the camera. I'll be fine. Like, don't put like any actual like responsibility on my hands because it might not go well for everybody involved.
Yeah, I'm very much like a perfectionist when it comes to certain things, so I would definitely um, be making sure it comes out right. I That reminds me, when I was in elementary school, we had a little news thing that we would do like every day or every week or something like that. And I remember I tried to be on it so much as I could go on that news station. I tried my best because you just like read from your little script and to the whole school, and it's not like recorded or anything. It's just broadcasted for that time. And I wanted to try to see if I could find it somewhere in the ether, but I don't think they were like recorded, which
Mm.
makes sense because there's so much of elementary school students. Like you don't want that out in the public, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of weird safety stuff now. You have to be careful with, but yeah, that was a good time. So it just reminded me of that.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I always liked writing. My dad's like, oh, you want to, or I was talking to my parents and like, oh, maybe journalism is the way to go. And I'm like, oh, okay. I've learned a lot of things, like putting a podcast like this together.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So you chose to do journalism instead of creative writing, or
Yeah, I added creative writing as a minor. That was
okay.
recent though, so yeah. And it was kind of funny because like, oh, you don't even have to take that many classes for that. I'm like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, because he already did a lot of the English classes when I was at.
Mm,
Yeah, I went to a community college before I'm where I'm at now. Yeah, it feels weird. I just feels like I just started this part of my college career yesterday, but now it's over. So
yeah, now you get to go in the workforce. Yay!
yeah. My dad's already like, oh, you want a job? Or he's like, hey, I signed you up for a job, and I'm like, dude, can I graduate first? Damn.
That's hilarious. You
No.
know, that's pretty sweet though. He
Yeah,
cares,
it's yeah,
you know?
he's yeah, it was funny. My mom and I were shopping earlier today, and she's like, "God, sometimes it's like he likes to stress me out." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I don't know."
You're telling me he just signed me up for a job I don't even know about, so
Well, he told
he
me
would
about it.
graduate
He's like, "Oh,
yet.
I'm just signing you up for it." And I'm like, "Okay, Even though I already was like, bro, like, can I just graduate first and then we can worry about that? But if it makes you feel, I'm just like, you know what? If it makes you feel better, fine. I'll just put up with it, at least for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's been a pretty quiet week actually, because my last week of classes was actually last week, so that's why I
Yeah, I
was
think
like, hey,
mine
let's
was
do a
like
podcast this week.
yeah, I think the original date you had said was like my last week of school.
Hmm.
So, and I was trying to do a Spanish placement test at the same time. It was like a oral Spanish placement test. And so I was stressing about that. So,
Did you pass that? My friend Shay has been talking about his dreaded finals for the past little bit because he's in nursing school at the moment.
yeah, he was at the gala and saying, "Yeah, I was studying for a test. I have a test tomorrow."
Oh yeah,
I'm
oh
like,
yeah, that's right.
"Why
That's right.
are you here?"
That's right. You guys went to the. That's right. You guys went to the Sun Eater thing. I forgot
Mhm.
about that. I don't know how I could have. I don't know.
Yeah.
um, 2025 has been a weird, wild year. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I kind of feel that too. My grandmother came to live with me like mid-year, so like some things have changed, but it kind of feels like some things have just stayed the same. And oh, are you frozen? Oh, there you go. Okay. You froze for
No,
a second
no,
for me and I
no.
was like,
Sorry.
uh but yeah, and then it's been like my worst reading year since I started reading again like 3 years ago. Like I've hardly read anything. Like I just haven't had the capacity to read this year. I don't know what's up with that.
I mean, I've had a really good reading year, except it's been weird because I haven't been reading a lot of like great books. I've read a lot of like really good books, but I
Mhm.
haven't read like one that's like, damn, that's a 5-star
Yeah,
read right there. Nothing like that, which is kind of shocking.
yeah.
I must have had a real bad, just either bad luck or I'm just I'm getting. I don't know if I can like just sit down and enjoy a book anymore. I don't know, but then again, last night I
Yeah, I
completed a
think
book I really liked, so there you go.
what book did you read that you really liked? Oh, okay.
I read
Rude.
Small Mercies by Dennis Lehane.
Oh, okay. I have not heard of that one. Can
It's
you
a
take
crime
your
book.
ball out of the
Yeah.
camera, please? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, the little cat. Or well, I guess
Yeah,
not
this
little.
is Moto. Yeah, he's definitely not little. He's 6 now, but I have 4 cats,
Yeah, my cat
and
is
this is my
12, and my
Oh,
dog is 9,
I
which
also have
is
a
just
12-year-old cat.
absolutely not. Or actually, no, she's not 9. She's 7 because she was born in 2018, which is
I
just
don't know.
that's just wild to me.
Yeah, like watching your animals grow and being like, "How are you this old now?"
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I don't have kids or anything, so I mean, having animals is kind of closest thing at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Me too.
You're just like, damn, you're
Um,
7 now? Okay.
yeah,
All right.
they grow so fast.
I know. I know.
They're like now they're moody, and I swear my cat went through a teenager phase, like when he was 4 and 5. Like I swear he would just like not want to spend time with me. And he's like my cuddle cat. Like he always wants me to pick him up and hang out with me. And then there was a period of time where he just would like sit across the room and just stare at me. And I'm like, okay, where did this come from? What is this? Uh, but yeah. So Malazan, you said you didn't read any great books, so you didn't feel super positive on Malazan.
Yeah, I'll admit there were a couple times I wanted to chuck the Gardens of the Moon against the wall because I was kind of getting
Wow,
irritated with it. But
that's a surprise.
it wasn't like bad. Like Krupp was cool. I don't know if you've met Krupp yet, but
No,
okay, you'll
I'm
know
very
him when you
early
see
on.
him. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't I don't know, like,
So
from
I've been trying to get like Shay, Philip Chase, and another friend of mine who likes Malazan together to talk about Malazan because I put it up for vote. That's what everyone chose. So
yeah,
yeah, that hasn't come together yet because schedules,
yeah,
pesky scheduling.
yeah, definitely. Um, hopefully I can finish it relatively soon because I also want to I mean, I definitely want to do a video on it on my channel, but I'd love to have some sort of conversation with people who like it and really don't like it and something like that I feel like would be really interesting.
Yeah, oh, I was about to say, oh, you also wanted to chuck it against the wall? Like, it's.
No.
I feel so
No, actually
relieved.
when so like I'm only like 30 something pages in, so I started like the other day.
Oh,
And from what I've read, I really like the writing style and how like there are like little things that are kind of coming together that
excuse me.
oh bless you.
Thank you.
That if you're not paying attention, like you're not gonna realize what's happening, I guess. But I read fairly slowly, so I try to pay attention to everything that's going on. And I don't know, like I like the way it starts. I like that it's militaristic. Because I haven't read a lot of military fantasy. The only one I've read that's military fantasy is By Blood by Salt, and I didn't even know it was military fantasy until I read it, and I was like, "Oh, that's what that is." But I guess I really like military fantasy, so um, but I don't know. I like the way it's done. Other than the chapters are really long, but I like that they're
Yeah, it's
breaks
kind of funny,
at least.
because my Gardens of the Moon copy is about as big as my Gentleman Bastard copies, and
Hmm.
the chapters are also just ridiculously long. Like,
But Gentlemen Bastards for Liza Lamora, because that's the only one I've read so far, but I loved it. The
it's the best
the
one, I
breaks
think.
that it does is really great. Like doing the numbers and then doing the breaks and doing the chapters. It
Mm-hmm.
gives you a lot of places to take a pause if you want to, and it makes it feel like it goes by a lot faster. But I hope that I like the rest in the series because but it's definitely hard to start Red Seas Under Red Skies because there's such a tonal shift. Like it changes so much from the first one that I don't know how to go into it. So
You know, it often bothers me when people say that Liza Lamora is a heist story because it's really not. If you think
it's
about it,
really
it's
not.
it's a revenge story.
Yeah, I
Like,
think that's
or
more
well, it
accurate.
starts out as kind of this like crime caper, and then it turns into a revenge story. Now, Red Seas Under Red
Yeah.
Skies, that's the heist. That's the heist story.
Hmm.
So you know, so if you're kind of like,
I
oh, where
guess
was
like
the heist? Red Seas Under Red Skies
yeah,
is the heist book.
I have never described the Lies of Lamora as a heist. So like I just kind of I think it's a lot more character focused than to just, like water it down to say, oh, it's a heist story, because really we're learning about Locke and his life and his journey through the career that found him, really, by birth, basically. And like his friends and just kind of the way he has to survive, basically. Um, Less about the heist, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then it just kind of turns into a revenge story as the
Yeah. Then
um
there's a lot of politicking, but
yeah.
I really liked it. My husband actually got caught up on that part. Like, I think it's less than 200 pages in, like maybe around page 180, where there ends up being a lot of politics stuff. And he was like, "Does this have a point to the story?" And I was like, "Yes, just keep reading." Like, I was so interested when I was reading about it. I'm like, "How are you not liking this?" But
It's like there was an
I don't
agreement
know.
between the politicians and the criminals, and they're like, okay, you go over there, you stay over here, we're good.
Yeah, I don't know. But he's reading Wheel of Time right now. He's on book 5.
Oh well,
So
no, I've never really felt the itch to read Will of Time. So good luck with that.
I I do more so now than ever because my husband really likes it and he doesn't read a lot of fantasy. And so I'm like, okay, so the fact that you really like it, I think that I'm also going to like it.
I mean, I know Tom Orange really likes it, but I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's just I don't know.
Then you hear about like, oh, well, it gets slow here, and everybody has a different opinion of which books are slow or which books are the slog. So like I will hear 5 and 6, but I also hear 7 through 9. So I'm like, which one is it? And
Well, I know
why are
book
they
9 is in there
slow?
somewhere, but
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just kind of like I don't know. It doesn't really like leap out to me like a Gentleman Bastards does, or I don't know what's another fantasy series I like, A Song of Ice and Fire or something like that.
I started that. I haven't gotten into the second book. I think I'm a little intimidated because like I know I'm going to like it, and I know that there's also so much that happens that I kind of like I'm savoring it.
All right,
I
yeah,
don't know. I do that with things like with shows that I really like. I won't watch the last season for like years because I don't want it to end. It's a problem. I'm getting through it.
yeah, and it's also kind of frustrating that it's not done yet. I don't know if it
Yeah.
ever will be done, but you never know.
Yeah. I definitely wonder because my current opinion is that I'd rather the books be good and not have a horrible ending than, for us to have the book and it be horrible. But I wonder if that opinion will change once I read them all. And then I go, well, I need more. What's happening? And it's been so long. And George R. R. Martin, I think he even said at one point that his passion is within TV and media and not really as much books. And he's been doing a lot more TV than he has writing, apparently. So,
Yeah, Yeah, no, it's like it's almost like he's doing anything except for writing the books at this point. So it's like, oh well.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like. Maybe he's just maybe it sounds a little morbid, but maybe he's waiting to pass away so that he doesn't have that weight on his shoulders anymore to write it. Like maybe he doesn't plan on finishing the series.
I don't know, but it's yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah. I couldn't really see anyone finishing it for him either.
I've heard some people mention like David, like what's that dude's name? It's not David Abraham, Daniel Abraham, maybe because
Oh, okay. I haven't read any of his books.
he and George worked pretty closely together for a long time. I've heard that, but I don't know. It feels very much like George's thing.
Yeah, I think so too. And I do wonder about how I will feel about Brandon Sanderson writing the final books of the Wheel of Time. Because I don't really like Brandon Sanderson's writing style. It's a really big hang up for me.
Never really felt the itch to read Brandon Sanderson much either, so there you go.
I read Elantris, and then I started Mistborn, and then DNF'd it at like 75 pages. And I'll give it a second chance, but everyone always says, "Oh, start with Mistborn," and I'm like, "But Mistborn already pissed me off within the first 75 pages with how repetitive it was." Like he is like more than hand-holdy. He's carrying your whole body like, with his writing. Like he doesn't trust the reader at all.
He's just like, here you go, little buddy. See that
Yeah.
thing over there? That metal? Yeah, it's important. And you're like, oh well.
Yeah.
I can see how that might be irritating.
I kind of hate repetitiveness in books. It really does ruin my rating sometimes. Like I noticed that in Empire of Silence, Chris Verrocchio does get a little repetitive as well with some descriptions. And it's like, okay, I liked this at first, but now you're telling me this one person is from this place in 3 different ways on the same page.
I mean, I haven't read
even towards the end of the book.
I haven't read Chris Verrocchio yet, so I don't know anything about that.
Is that another one that you're kind of like, doesn't really like grab your attention?
No, or? Like I'm not against trying it. I just haven't like felt the motivation for it yet. So
yeah,
there you go.
That's how I'm feeling with starting the second one. Because I have a really hard time.
Oh, I thought you liked Sunny because you went to the gala and all that.
I went to the gala. So what happened was me and Tom. This is my one out of the 2 buddy reads that I failed on. Me and Tom were like, "Oh yeah, let's start reading Sun Eater together."
Excuse me.
Empire of Silence will do a buddy read. And then months went by and I just wasn't finishing the book. But life stuff kind of got in the way, and I had already bought my tickets and me and Tom did the same thing. We bought our tickets really early. I don't think they were refundable. And it was kind of like felt like a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity for me to go to some sort of book event where I had read the first book and I liked the author, and they actually did a pretty good job of trying to keep it fairly spoiler free, which I don't know why. But I did hear spoilers. I've forgotten them now. I've just like brushed them out of my brain. but yeah, like I knew there was going to be a whole bunch of people there that I knew only from online. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just do this? Because I don't really like socialize that much because I'm a fully online student. And I'm like, well, this is a good time for me to go to something, meet people who like the same things as me.
Now's as good time as any.
Right, exactly. Excuse to dress up and just have a good time. And it was great. It was a really great time. And I judged myself for not having read the other books, but it was kind of like it inspired me to want to keep reading the series, seeing so many people who love it. And because I also didn't really care about spoilers because I knew what was happening. So, but sometimes that can help because Christopher Verrocchio, getting from point A to point B, if you know what point B is, which you do when you start the book, he spoils things within his story all the time.
Mm.
So
So he's pretty
it
heavy-handed with the foreshadowing, is what you're getting at.
it's not even foreshadowing. He's straight up telling you. Like, his character is straight up telling you what's going to happen.
All I know
But
is about this guy called Hadrian Marlowe. He's kind of a self-involved douche, and he blew up a sun, aka Sun
he
Eater. That's
eats
why they
it.
call him that.
Yeah, he eats it, I guess, in the
he
final
just
book.
he just takes a bite out of the sun. I like that.
I have no, yeah, I don't know.
I
We'll
like to
see.
imagine he just like pure Galactus and just like eats the essence of the sun or something like
He
something
just,
crazy.
yeah, like Soul Eater eating the souls. It's
Yeah,
just
like,
him
and I
with the
bet the
sun.
Sun Eater fans are just gonna go like, "Bro, that is not at all what it's like."
Well, they did listen. No one knew until this final book came out because that's when it happens. And so even throughout the as you're reading the first book, he spoils things that will happen within the first book, and it's really interesting because I didn't know that I would like that, but he does it really well.
Mm.
However, like I said, he is repetitive sometimes. And Hadrian loves to mention how tall he is, and he loves to look at his feet. It just repeats through the whole book. And I'm like, when is this going to stop? It's like when I read Elantris and Brandon Sanderson would not stop talking about I think her name's Serena, the main female character, her
Mm.
height. And it never matters in the story. But there would be multiple ways that he would mention her height to people, and it would piss me off. Like, I literally punched the book because I was getting so pissed. But the ideas in the book
Oh,
are really good and really interesting.
that's
But the
happened to
writing
you
style,
when you like get so mad at a book, you have to put it down and go on like a tirade for 15 minutes. That happened to me with Republic of Thieves, kind of going back to Gentlemen Bastards, because there was a part in
oh
that
really?
that just angered me so much. I just put the book down and just started going on a tirade for like 20 minutes. It was maybe not that
Was
long,
it
but I was not happy.
like plot reasons?
Yes, we'll just say that.
Okay. Okay, because mine was writing reasons
Oh,
that pissed me off. But also, there was a part of the plot that literally didn't make any sense. Like, biggest plot hole ever. And I'm like, why did you add this? No one cares. So what a time. So
so
I have been put off from reading Brandon Sanderson now.
so
I st- Go ahead.
so what is it with Sun Eater? Is it just like he'll just go like, "Oh, I'll never see him again," and then like goes off? Because that's interesting. Because one of my favorite authors is Cormac McCarthy, and he likes to he sometimes in his books, like there's one of his books called The Crossing. I read it last year. It's part of his Border trilogy. And there's a part where the main character just kind of rides off to, he's trying to help a wolf out in the first like part of the book. And he just drops a line where he goes, he'll never see his family again or something like that. I can't remember exactly what that is. And I'm like, oh shit, like he's not playing, And there's also another part in Blood Meridian, which is another one of his books, where he introduces this character called the Van Diemen Lander, who's basically like modern day like Australian. He's basically an Australian, and he describes like he has a tattoo that Toadvine is one of the other characters we'll see in a bathhouse in, I think it's Chihuahua, and he'll also see it on like a tree when they find his body at the towards the end of that
Oh.
year. And I'm just really fascinated by that. I'm like, I don't know what they call that, but I find that really fascinating when authors do that.
Christopher Rocchio's pretty straight up with it. Like, he'll be like, there was this one girl who comes in, and then Hadrian mentions like, oh, I can't recount the amount of times that I try to replicate her, like drawing her, and the amount of drawings that he'll do of her. And I'm like, okay, so that means she's going to be in the story. Multiple. Hadrian's an artist, so he draws everything, like everyone he's ever met, he draws, and he draws like cities and things like that. And obviously, he talks about eating the sun, or like he'll be like, yeah, this
I
is the
guess he's
story
real
of.
proud of it.
And he talks about like, oh, like I got executed from this place, or like this and that, and these things that won't happen for like many books later. Like literally eating the sun doesn't happen until the final book. So it's interesting, but I like it. But I have found out that I'm the type of person who needs a break between authors. Like I can't really read one book from an author after the other because I'll get a little tired of it because I'm usually like a read one book at a time type of person. So, which I don't want to be. I want to read multiple books at a time. I don't have a hard time following it, but
Yeah, I'm a guy. I generally try to read 2 books at a time. People are like, damn, how do you do that? I'm like, I just go from day to
I just
day.
do it.
You know, I just do it. It's not really a
I think
secret sauce to it. I don't think. Anyway.
my problem is trying to figure out which one I want to read. So then I just am like, well, I'll just choose one and just read that one. And when I'm done with that one, I can read the next one. But then when I don't want to read that one book, then I'm reading nothing. So I gotta get better about that. I gotta fix that. Because I definitely have sampled some books before starting Gardens of the Moon. And then I've really landed on Gardens of the Moon as like, okay, I'm gonna continue this.
Yeah,
Really
no, I have a friend of mine. His name's Tig. He really loves the Malazan books. He was the one who was one of the main ones who was pestering me to read it for a long time. And he read Empire of Silence and just absolutely trashed it. He's like, this guy is, can't stand this dude.
like because of Hadrian.
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
because of Hadrian. He's like,
Hadrian definitely has an interesting complex. Yeah. I wouldn't say he like annoys me.
was he a type
I'm
you
just
just
kind
like
of
want to
like, oh,
slap
this
and
is
say
him.
like, get a hold of yourself, man?
Definitely. There are definitely many times where you're like, dude, stop. But like he's got this complex of like not wanting to be nobility and also being super nobility like in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got that sort of complex going, and he's also got this self-hatred complex going. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, so there are some things that when it comes to that, like it's kind of funny because I'm like, oh man, like I relate to that. But then the nobility stuff, I'm just like, dude, you contradict yourself so much. And it's making me upset. But otherwise, I guess he's fine.
Apparently, he's like an unreliable narrator, which I'm like, awesome. Though
Oh, great.
I always wonder. I'm like, well, is there really such a thing as a reliable narrator? Because that if
Yeah.
there
What's the
is,
fun in that?
I don't know. I don't know.
So Cormac McCarthy, you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is that one of your favorite authors?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could you sell me on picking up one of his books? Because I've never, like you're saying, you haven't got the itch to get some of these books. That's how I feel about Cormac McCarthy. I just haven't got the drive to read one of his books.
Well, I mean, what are you looking for specifically?
I am looking to read out of my comfort zone, out of the fantasy comfort zone. So really, I'm kind of open up to anything.
Well, I generally tell people to read like No Country for Old Men at first because that's probably like his most like straightforward book. You don't really have to not try too hard. I think that it can be it is a deep book. I think you might like All the Pretty Horses because that's kind of a coming of
Okay.
age story.
Yeah, we
Uh,
have that book, I think.
I remember Tom really enjoyed it, which was quite nice to see
Mhm.
because I thought that was really good when I read it a few years ago.
Yeah, Tom
I'd
has
say
been
those
really
two are
good
his
about
most.
branching out.
I'd say those two are his most accessible books, if you want to start there.
Okay. Okay. Not Blood Meridian.
No, though I've had friends who've started with Blood Meridian, and you know, I wouldn't start there though.
Is he the author that doesn't quote his dialogue?
No, he doesn't use quotation marks or anything. But
Okay.
you can. It's weird
That's what I
because you
thought.
can follow who's talking. You just have to
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, it's funny how that
Yeah.
works.
There are some authors who are really good at having their characters have their own specific voices
Mm-hmm.
where you kind of know who's talking. I
Mm-hmm.
feel that way about Game of Thrones for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like his
Yeah.
characters have very specific voices, but George, he makes me upset too.
Yeah, he's not perfect. He likes food.
And breast.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would rather read about food, but I feel like every time a woman is introduced, so is her body.
Yeah, no, he especially likes to ogle Cersei's body and when he gets to her perspective chapters.
You know, the scene with Cersei and someone else, for anyone who hasn't read it. Is it Cersei? No. Yeah,
You
the
mean when
sister.
you mean when she's you know banging
Uh-huh.
Jamie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just skip past that because I'm not interested in reading anything about that. I also, some of the Daenerys chapter stuff, I also skip
Well,
past
to be fair,
any of those
I
type
don't
of
think
scenes.
George is saying like that's good.
He's not. No. So that's what I do like about his writing, is that he's not romanticizing it. I think it's kind of it's done in a better way. Like, I don't know. The best way that I can describe it is that he's not romanticizing these bad things that are happening. I think he could have handled Daenerys better, but it's definitely not the worst way it's been done, I guess. So,
I mean,
but making her character arc
when
a certain way is,
when one writes about sexual matters, it's always going to be kind of uncomfortable. I was talking about this with a friend of mine the other day, so I'm like, well, can't ever win, I guess. He's like, not really. It's like, okay.
yeah. I mean, there are some people who definitely enjoy that in their books, and I just try to skip past it because I don't want to read about that.
Hey, I mean, there are real freaks out there, but you know,
That's true. I mean, dark romance is a thing.
that's so true, man. I can't tell you how many like cringe fan fiction I've read on like Wattpad back in the day. You remember Wattpad? Did you ever
You
know of
know what?
Wattpad?
I knew Wattpad, but I that was at the time that like I was not reading.
Oh,
So, like, I stopped reading for a big portion of my life. Like, I read in elementary school, and then like that was it until I turned 22, and then I started reading again. So, yeah, I had a very big break from reading, and like between that time, I maybe read like 3 books or something like that. Like, I read like 2 John Green books, and
John Green's
that's
good.
interesting looking back on that. You know, I read Looking for Alaska and the most popular one. I always forget the name of it.
The Fault in Our Stars. Is that the one
Yeah,
you're talking
thank
about?
you. Yeah.
I actually like Looking for Alaska and Paper Towns more than Fault in Our Stars.
I would say I like Looking for Alaska more than The Fault in Our Stars. Um, there's a lot more left to interpretation
Mm-hmm.
and stuff in that book, which I like. So, but I don't think I would be able to go back and read it as an adult. I think I read those at a good time in my life. Like I was like 15, 16 years old. I feel like that's kind of the target
Same. Though
audience.
I lent my aunt Looking for Alaska, and she was she was trying to recover from we'll just say a drug addiction.
Okay.
That did not go well. She ended up taking the book and also some cough medicine, and yeah, we haven't really spoken since. So that wasn't good.
You know, you try to share things you like, and it just may not go the best.
That's
So,
why I don't lend things anymore. I'm like, no.
oh no.
I also
I
also
remember.
lended one of my another book called Killers of the Flower Moon to my other aunt. This is another aunt. She's not on drugs or anything, but she like wouldn't give it back, and I'm just like, could I just have it back? She's like, she would like make up some, and she's like, oh, I can buy you another one. I'm like, you can't just like give it back to me. Do you know where it is? And she's like, oh yeah, whatever. She got real mad about it, and then finally she just returned it, and then I read it. I'm like, oh, this was a good book, you know. So bizarre. It
I
was so
I
bizarre.
want to read Killers of the Flower Moon. I have that book. I bought it this year, I think.
Really good.
Yeah, one of my best friends read it, and I don't know if she read it for school or something like that, but she really loved it.
I mean, it's about
So,
my home state, so I was like, I gotta read this. So, yeah, I
mm,
did.
I didn't know that's where your name was from.
Hmm.
Um, because I'm thinking some okay, dude. Like,
That's funny you say
okay.
that. I was at my library, and my email is someokidude@gmail.com, and they put it as some okay dude at gmail.com, and I was like, no, it's okay, IE. It's like he's like, yeah, I get it, and yeah, we fixed that, but I was just kind of, it's funny you say that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until like I started watching your chat with David, Four Corners of the Page,
Oh, yeah.
David.
Yeah. He's
And
a
he
good
was like,
dude.
"Oh yeah," and he caught on to it immediately, and I'm like, "You're not even from here." Like, what the heck? Like, that's not fair. But no, he's a good dude. I had a chat with him. I think it was the first Book Street Boys chat I was on, and
Yeah,
his internet kept cutting out.
I was gonna say he's a
It's
good
hilarious.
kid, but he's several years older than me, so technically I'm the kid. Um, no, but he's like, oh yeah, I like Woody Guthrie, and it just kind of turned into a conversation from there, and I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool.
I saw the way that you do your chats are not as like structured, and then in your little description you do all of the things you guys talked about like kind
Hmm.
of briefly, and I was like, oh, I really like that style. Like, that's really cool. Like, it really is kind of just like friends coming on to just have a casual chat. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I woke up at like 8 in the morning so we could do that, and blew my dad's mind because I rarely wake up at 8 in the morning for anything unless I have like a class that's early in the morning.
Oh wow.
And he was just like, "Oh
I wake up
man,
at
like
8 every day, but
it's been
I feel like
crazy."
that's kind of late.
And I'm like, "Nah." So he's like, "Oh, maybe
Yeah.
podcasting should be your career." I'm like, "That would be a not no," but it's like,
All right, but it's a fun thing to do.
yeah,
I
no,
definitely
it's
enjoy it.
yeah, but yeah, no, I talk with David. Yeah, he's a cool guy. I like him. I've tried contacting him more since then, but he's busy with his life over in Japan, so it's kind of
Yeah, I think he has children and a wife and is teaching and, important life things.
he's
So,
yeah, he's chasing little kids around. Like, what are you doing in
hmm
Japan? He's like, oh, I like Japan. He's like, He's like, I've lived here twice. I'm like, that's crazy. And then we talked about
that's
Malzahn
actually crazy.
for. Then we talked about Malzahn for a good bit.
Spoilers or non-spoilers?
If I remember correctly, we did try to kind of dance around spoilers a lot. Though I
hmm
did mention like, he just kind of throws a lot of things at the audience, and he's like, yeah, he does that.
hmm
So which is true, by the way. He'll
Yeah.
Now, now the conversation I had with Sherilyn and Tabitha, I basically just told them like the lowdown of some of the stuff that happened, and like without like going into like plot specifics, just talking about things that
hmm
just go down in the book. And I think I unintentionally sold them on the book, so there you go.
That's interesting. Um, they haven't read it yet?
No,
I would have thought they would have for some reason. Um, but I think there's going to be a couple people in the Book Street Boys that are probably going to be starting their Malzahn journey next year. Malzahn and Wheel of Time, because we were just talking about it today. Which is funny that I asked you if you had a Discord, because we are in 6 servers together.
yeah, yeah, I saw that. I'm
I
like,
was like,
God, we haven't really ran into each other. I guess I don't know.
yeah, I have in the YouTube comments like all the time, like YouTube comments or like when we're watching streams, that like I recognize your username because I
Hmm.
see you in all the streams.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you're
think I have
always
a
showing up.
different name on
I
Discord
think it's
because,
this. I think it's the same.
or is it? I don't know, but
I don't know if it's different for the different servers, but I don't know why I didn't go to check. But I'm only like active in the Book Street Boys.
Yeah,
chat.
I'm on there. I'm really bad at keeping up with Discords unless it's like with like
It's
good
a
friends of
lot,
mine. And also
and
I'm
it's a
on like
very
Talking
active
Stories
channel.
Discord, and because I'm pretty
Me
tight with the
too.
mittens, so at least I think so.
They're really sweet
I
too.
usually
I'm
will be
supposed to
like, "Hey
do.
John, you want to talk about acting with me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then it's like, "Oh boy, I can't wait." And then he's like, "Oh, I got a thing I'm doing." It took like 3 weeks to put that together to finally like sit down and do it. Which, nothing against John. He was busy, but it was just kind of funny. I was kind of teasing him about it, and he's like, "I'm sorry. A lot of stuff kept coming up.
They're
I wrote a
so
book."
sweet. They're so sweet. The mittens are so sweet. Like
Yeah, no,
getting to
they're
meet them in person and everything too was so cool.
yeah, no. I mean,
Uh,
I talked to all three of them to talk about Discovery. God, months and months back. Uh, back when the book first came
I
out.
pre-ordered that. I still haven't read it, but I
Yeah, no,
pre-ordered
it's
it
funny.
on Kindle.
They gave me the booktube nephew like here's the arc. And I'm like, oh, thank you, and I ended up reading it, and I
Oh,
enjoyed it. So
yeah, that's really nice. I
yeah, and I wanted to wait until it came out, and then I put out the conversation about it.
yeah. Yeah, I think I've only gotten one arc, which was Mercy Tears of the Fallen, and I did read it as an
Oh
arc,
yeah,
and then I
I
did
got that as
the
well. I got a
alpha read.
paperback.
Yeah.
You might be actually be able to see it. It's right
Yeah, I
there.
can see it.
Yeah.
Um Mine's right there. It's really dark back there,
Yeah,
so
I
I
was about to
think
say it's
that's the
a
right
little
one.
dark in your house.
Yeah, right there, I think.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think I
I
see
don't
it.
know. I'm still trying to figure out lighting for live streams or like
I
the
just,
long
I
form.
just, I've never heard. My mom's always talking to me about lighting because she's like, "Oh, you look kind of, your lighting's kind of like." I'm like, I don't really care, you
Yeah.
know. But
I
it's
think
whatever, Sometimes I'll look at it, I'm like, God, lighting is kind of bad. God, I wish I had a
oh,
son who knew how to do frickin' technology better than me. Even though I'm technically
Jacob.
the
Yeah.
son who like uses technology. My dad's like, it's so funny. Like when the older members of your family go like, "Hey, how does this thing work that on the internet?" I'm like, I just surf the internet. I'm not like a computer. Like it's not my thing. But
My husband's better at it than I am, but I do know some stuff because when it gets to technology stuff and I want to get something new with tech, I try to learn everything about it or everything about the products that I'm looking into. So like my lighting, I looked into that. The microphone and the audio transmitter also looked into that. Like so I know some things, but the unfortunate part is I will kind of obsess over it for a couple months and then I brain dump it later. So I'm not like really that much help to anyone. Cameras too.
yeah, like
But
my mom's like, "Oh, you should hashtag everything." I'm like, "I don't,
I mean, not on YouTube.
yeah."
YouTube doesn't really use hashtags to show videos to people.
Oh, is that right? I'll tell mom that. I'll tell my mom that. But no.
It's kind of like what you write in the description that matters the most and your titles in your thumbnails.
Oh,
Like
well,
that's
okay.
really
But I remember I made a video because I sometimes do like discussion videos on my channel, where it's just me kind of
Mhm.
filibustering about things because I live. I mean, I have my parents here, but a lot of the time it's just me sitting in this office by myself overthinking things. So I'll be like, "Oh, I'll just talk about it and see if people feel the same way that I do. Um, there was one time I was talking about kind of if fantasy is kind of in like an identity crisis. I was like, very pleased with that video. And I saw Library of a Viking kind of do a similar video. I'm like, oh, excellent. A bigger YouTuber than me must have seen this video and is gonna like commentate on this. And then I click on the video and he's like, look at these covers, man. See the drop in quality? And my face just dropped. I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, well, now I want to hear a sneak peek into that video, and then I want to watch that video because that sounds really interesting. Yours.
Oh, well,
So what is the identity crisis that you feel like it's having?
Well, I do. Basically, I'll just try and because I think it's a complicated subject, but basically, I find
Definitely.
that like fantasy is like there are two chief inspirations, at least modern day, of how fantasy is written. That is J.R.R. Tolkien and Robert E. Howard, who wrote Lord of the Rings and Conan the Cimmerian to be respectively. And I was basically going like, well, there's a lot of people who kind of, just copy those two without really understanding what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, are there other avenues for fantasy literature aside from those two guys?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the gist of what I was talking about. I got an interesting response. I honestly, there's some of those discussion videos I've done that I thought like people are gonna get like mad at me and go like, "Oh, you're wrong." No, mostly everyone's been pretty chill about it. So
We're all allowed to have opinions, So, um, that's just one of those things with the internet. But I'm glad that no one was. Oh no. I'm glad that no one was upset with you or anything for it, because
and like
life's
nothing
too
wrong
short to
with.
get upset about that
I
kind
mean,
of
hey,
stuff.
nothing wrong with taking inspiration for those guys. I mean, I love Lord of the Rings and Conan the Barbarian, but I think there are other avenues you could take.
You know, when I started reading fantasy, the Liza Lamora was maybe like the fourth or fifth or sixth book into my reading journey that I read, and I was like, because I had watched a lot of booktube, I was like, this feels so much different than what so much other fantasy is, and that's why I really, really liked it, is because it just felt different. Because I had read Lord of the Rings, and I was like,
Mm.
well, this is obviously nothing like this. Um, I can't remember what other books I was reading at the time, but it was nothing like anything I had read before, which wasn't hard because I hadn't read very much. Uh, but but yeah, I think that fantasy has this problem because publishing has a problem. That anytime there's a book that has some success, no matter what genre it is, the genre will change a bit to try to replicate that book over and over again. Like, we've seen this huge boom in romantasy because some romantasy books like Fourth Wing and Akatar picked up speed all of a sudden, even though Akatar had been out for a while. The internet picked it up, which means now publishers are going, we got to publish books that are like this.
Yeah,
And they
I
did that
know
in the
that.
same
I'm
time as
not.
Tolkien, too.
Yeah, I know that. I understand that. I get that. Like, you know, marketing is like a real big thing, which is why I'm quite fascinated with the indie sphere. Even though I
I
haven't
was going to ask you about that.
really
Yeah.
haven't. I want to touch it more, but I haven't yet. But yeah, it's interesting that we have the indie that self publishing has actually become like a thing. Like Philip Chase
Yeah. It's a
did
big thing.
the Idan trilogy, and that is just taken
Yeah.
off. Like it has a broken
Yeah.
binding now. Like that's
Yeah.
huge.
I think Chance is getting broken binding too.
Is he? That's
I think
crazy.
so. I think he's in talks of it. Like, he has to sell a certain amount of books or something like that. He's got his audiobooks are lined up. You've got J.J. Minton who did
Yeah, they
their
did that.
book
They got
and
that
they're
audiobook deal, which is nuts. I mean, it's not. It's not a. I've been saying this for a while. It's not a. It's not just a vanity project anymore. Like this is like a legit thing that people are going to use
passion
in the future.
projects. Yeah.
And I have some friends who've gotten are kind of on the traditional publishing train, I guess, if you want to call it that. I won't get into that whole mess, but but yeah, it's and what's interesting, the point I was trying to get to is you can kind of just do whatever you want in
Mm-hmm.
self pub fantasy. Like I
Yeah.
don't know if something like Mushroom Blues, for instance, which I'm hoping to read next year because it just sounds like a book that would tickle my funny bone. Uh, and like maybe he could have published it during that like new weird boom of like the early 2000s, but like nowadays, nah, unless you're like Jeff Vandermeer, like that's not gonna
Mm.
happen.
It does sound like a really interesting book, though, because I think I watched an author interview. I find recently I've been watching a lot of author interviews. I say recently, like within the past year or two. And doing the author interviews makes me want to read their books. Like Brian Cahill, another indie
Mm-hmm.
author that a lot of people within this space know of. and his books are really taken off too.
Yeah, or
And
there's By Blood by Salt, which I haven't read, but I've heard is like, I've heard it's Arabic inspired. I don't know if that's true.
yes, because she was an Arabic linguist in the Marine Corps.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I yeah, I forget what I was trying to say.
It's okay.
But yeah, no, now I remember. It's kind of like, it's interesting the freedom that like indie publishing gives you, which is quite I
Hmm.
think quite fascinating. I mean, there are definitely the people who are very content to do kind of like a Lord of the Rings riff, which again, nothing wrong with that. It's just I mean that's probably the most influential fantasy that's been written in at least a
Yeah,
modern era. So that's
yeah.
that's gonna happen, but as I've grown as a fantasy reader, sometimes you kind of get bored with that.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people that because I'm still not super far in my reading journey with the amount of books that I've read, that you get pickier and pickier as you go along because you're like, oh, well, I'm reading the same story over and over again. Or I started out Empire of Silence a little picky because of the heavy Dune inspirations. But I
Mm.
also know that Dune was heavily inspired by some other books that came before it. And that's just the cycle. But because I hadn't read those other books, I'm like, oh my gosh, why is this beginning scene exactly like Dune? But
I read Dune back in 2020. Then I got really depressed, and then I stopped reading it for a while, and then I finished it, and I was kind of like, eh.
that was me with the second book in the Farseer trilogy. Like I just started getting depressed halfway through, and it
It
wasn't
wasn't
really
because of the
even
book.
like
It was
the
just,
book's fault.
yeah, it was.
It was just like kind of life, and I was like, well, I'm stopping this now because this is not making me feel any better. So I'm gonna put this down for now, and I'll come back to it. I still haven't come back to it, but I love Robin Hobb. I love
Yeah,
her
she's
writing
one
style.
that
It's
I've been
so
meaning
good.
to get to for a long time. I haven't felt the itch yet, but it's definitely one I'd like to get to because there's just so much enthusiasm on BookTube, especially. I've seen some of her
Yeah, it's one
tweets.
of the
She
ones I need
seems
to
like
continue.
a nice enough lady.
Yeah, when you read her description in the Farseer book, you're like, "Oh my gosh, this woman is cool." Like, she's done so much cool stuff. I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, it's like Janny Wirtz. She's like, oh, she's a writer, but also she plays bagpipes and rides horses. I'm like, oh, what?
And illustrates her books.
Yeah, I know, right? You're just like, that's
Her
nuts,
art is
dude.
amazing. Yeah, I wanna read Janny Words too. There's so much good stuff out
Yeah, I'm
there that
thinking
I
about
need to
reading
get
to
to.
Ride Hell's Chasm in 2026 as part of my fantasy standalone reads. So,
Yeah, I think because everyone
oh
says that's a
yeah, and
good place
Shay's
to
like, oh
start.
yeah, guess what? I did the audiobook for The Gallant, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
That is a crazy flex.
Yeah, right. You're just like, damn, dude, it's nuts.
Yeah. I yeah, I was hearing about that, what, a couple months ago that he found out he was gonna be able to do that. So I was
Yeah,
like,
and then
"Oh,
he's like,
that's
"Oh, I'm
really
also
cool."
writing my own book." I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool." Like,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, he posted the first chapter on his channel. I'm sure you can find it.
Oh, I will have to look at that. That's really exciting. There's so many people in the booktube space that just have such a passion for reading and writing that it's really exciting to see what people come up with. Like Michael Cronk has his books out. I would like to see what
I'm
those are
actually,
about
I'm
too.
actually hoping to have him on the show in early 2026. And I emailed
Well,
him
that would
about
be
it. He's like,
fun.
"Oh, you got me." And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'd love to come on. Would you like some money to like update your StreamYard?" And I'm like, I appreciate
Like,
the
are you calling me out
I
or what?
and I'm like, I appreciate the generous offer. I'm gonna have to say no because I just feel weird about people sending me money for stuff. That's why I haven't started a Patreon. I can pay for it myself, but I appreciate the
Right.
offer. He's like, okay, yeah, just let me know when you're ready to go, or if you change your mind. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm like,
Yeah, I
so
for
weird. It was
myself
it was
too,
that was the most. That's one
I
of the
feel
more interesting
similar.
stories I've had while trying to get people for podcasting.
He's such a nice guy. Like I haven't met him, but he seems like such a nice guy. Like just from watching his videos, he just has this like I don't know. He just has this niceness kind of aura, I guess. I don't know. Just this energy he exudes, I guess, is just really nice. So,
Yeah, he seems like a good dude. Um, you know, I
yeah, I agree.
yeah, I first found his channel because I was reading Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and I was looking around for anyone who was talking about it because it kind of like after Piranesi came out, like people were like, "Oh, she wrote this Jonathan Strange Mr. Norrell book. I got to check this out," and it kind of became like a sleeper hit on BookTube. And he
Hmm.
was one of the people who did it. I'm like, "Oh, this guy's cool," so I subscribed to his channel.
Okay. I haven't read Piranesi or Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Like Piranesi and what, Circe? Because they're both kind of mythological based, I guess, right?
I haven't read Cersei, but
Oh, okay.
so I don't know.
They just haven't.
But
They
Piranesi is very
haven't.
good.
What is it about?
So to just kind of, okay, so it's about this guy who's in this like house basically, and
Starting off strong. Guy in a house. We love it.
yeah, and he's basically like trying to figure out all the house's secrets, and he meets with this other guy called the Other, and they're like trying to figure out like mysteries and stuff about like the occult. Um, and then he learns things are not quite what they seem. I'll just leave it there.
Okay.
Because it's one of those books like
That's
going
very
in
vague.
blind. Like going in
Yeah.
blind is one of the better ways to read that book.
By Blood by Salt. If you haven't read the back, don't read the back. Because
I don't think I even know what it's about. I've heard a lot of hearsay.
just go in not knowing much, because I feel like reading the back, because I didn't read the back before I read it, and then once I did read the back, I was like, this feels like a spoiler. Like it feels like there's too much on the back.
So what does it go like? So this guy is in a fantasy land, and oh no, his family's dead, so he's gonna get revenge. You're like, what? So I don't know. I'm just totally making that up.
No, just kind of.
Or hold on. Oh yeah, I read a book recently called Train Dreams by a guy called Dennis Johnson. And
Okay.
it literally on the back is like drops a big thing that happens in the story, and I'm just like, why? Why do you do that? Why would you do that?
I
I hate that.
I feel like if I could explain it the best, I feel like the back of the book outlines the plot way too much to where you already basically know what's going to happen in the story. But if you go in blind, you really don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, no, it's really annoying. I was just like, well, why? Just kind of dampened the book a little bit, but it was just kind of.
You know, that's how I'm feeling about Malazan right now, because although I've heard things about it, and maybe I've read the back before, but like I don't have the best memory anyway. Um, I'm kind of going into Malazan blind. Like I've heard some of the characters' names. I've definitely watched videos on it, like non-spoiler videos on it, but I've just like it's gone in my head, so I
Yeah,
don't know
no,
what's
I
gonna.
like literally most of what I know about it. I mean, one, I read the first book, so there you go.
Yeah.
And
So
like
you
most
know
of
enough.
what I heard was like, oh, it's complex, and also it's about
Yeah,
compassion,
exactly.
and that's about it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Out here, it's complex, it's too hard, and then you hear other people that are like, I don't know why they're saying it's complex because
There's
it's really not as bad
dinosaurs.
as what everyone seems,
There's dinosaurs with sword arms.
and that it's militaristic
It's so
and.
funny the kind of back and forth of the Malzahn fan base because I remember back in the day they were kind of
Mhm.
like, oh man, it's real hard and like hard. It's not for the faint of heart. And then they realized they were kind of chasing people away from it. They're like, no. There's a bunch of cool stuff in here
No,
too.
it's fine. It's fine. I promise. We'll explain it to you.
Yeah, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's kind of funny how that works.
I think the two series I've heard the most. Okay, no, there's actually three that I hear the most bad and good stuff about. Like Henius trilogy. People are like, oh, first and second book, not great. Third book, amazing. And then Malzahn, obviously you hear, oh, it's really confusing and complex and hard to read. And then you hear other people going, no, it's not that bad. And then the Wheel of Time, they're like, oh, this is the best series ever, but also 3 of these books are not good. So
Yeah,
those
like
are the 3 I hear the most. Like,
I could follow most of Malazan just fine. I just got real irritated with it because it almost felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be.
mm,
Like you know what? I won't. I'll try and be real vague about this, but it's like he tried. Like Erickson kind of will he'll. Okay, how do I put this without just saying like events of the book that happen? Like he establishes the tone of the book being this one thing, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, you know, like that's cool. And then he'll throw like 5 things at you, and you're like, what is going on here? And it'll just discombobulate you. That was my experience anyway. Maybe you'll feel differently about it, but I was just kind of like, what are you doing? What is this? And there have been people I've met, like I was talking with David about this on our podcast. He's like, yeah, Gardens is the roughest one because it's his first book, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, I got that, but it's just kind of frustrating.
you know, I'm at least liking the way it's starting. So hopefully I feel the same throughout the whole book. Uh, but I don't know. Like, how would you describe Erickson's writing style?
Um,
Because it doesn't feel too descriptive or too dialogue heavy.
I would say evocative. Evocative's a good way to describe it. Like he can
Evocative.
he can evoke an atmosphere. Is what I'm saying. Very,
I'm
you know
feeling
what?
that.
I'll just say
Okay.
atmospheric and just leave it there. I don't know.
Yeah.
And David's
I
like,
mean,
oh, you know, he can
I
be
like
real like
both.
economical with his prose. I'm like, okay. I didn't really get that vibe, but all right, you know,
What does that mean?
that just means like I forget. Not everyone knows what these things mean.
Like, economical with his prose? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it just means like it can be real like stripped back. Is what he means by that.
Okay. Like land?
No, it's not that.
Oh. No, I still don't understand.
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
need to read
It's
more is what I'm hearing.
yeah. No. It's yeah. It was written. I'll just say that.
It was written. It was written. It's evocative. I like that one. It evokes a certain atmosphere. I like that because it's different than atmospheric. It makes me think a little differently. I don't know why, but
Yeah, no, and
evoking a certain feeling and like you feel like you're in the place. And I know that that could be atmospheric, but I feel like atmospheric is it feels like a different vibe in my mind. I don't know why.
yeah, it's yeah. What finally kind of interested me, you know, what we were talking about earlier, that you know, I was kind of talking about how a lot of these people kind of take from Tolkien and Howard and
Hmm.
don't really know what they're doing. What kind of finally sold me on it was like Erickson wasn't using that model, and
Yeah.
I'm like that's a really like that could be really interesting. I'd really like to see how that works, and you know, he does do that for better or for worse, but I mean, I'm not really seeing what the hype is about yet. So,
You know what? When I read it, I feel like he's not overly descriptive about one thing, but likes to describe a couple of different things in like each scene that he does, which I'm really liking in the beginning. At least that's how it feels. Where whereas you have like Robin Hobb who's really descriptive about everything. But I also really like that as well. So, I think I'm more on the side of liking descriptive authors than I am liking dialogue heavy authors because I would say I don't know what would I say Brandon Sanderson's a little bit more plain. I'm just I don't know
I mean,
my
I've
idea of his
heard that
writing is just
Sanderson won't be winning like Pulitzers anytime soon. So, I mean, I get
yeah
what you mean.
yeah uh
I remember I had a friend of mine who's like, it's like a fucking video game. Is what he said to me.
what which one?
Sanderson stuff.
Oh,
And I'm like,
which is interesting because none of them are like lit RPG in that sense.
yeah,
Unless
it's
he's
probably
talking
because
just
he like over describes his magic, which is why I've never really been all that interested in him. Because it's like, well, it's just
yeah.
science at
I
that point.
I want to read The Way of Kings at least. Like I may not even continue the series, but I at least want to read the first book.
Yeah. Also, I'm
Uh,
real sorry. I like keep swearing, and you seem like a real like straight laced kind of person. So I'm just being like, just being very my decorum isn't great.
um, I
Then again,
I actually in my
you were in the Marines though, so maybe it's okay. I don't know.
I do curse in my everyday life. I just don't like to curse online. Like there's a certain I don't even want to say professionalism, but it almost feels like a professionalism type thing where I don't know that that's the image I want to put out of myself of like, oh, I'm going to be cursing about this and that, but I don't care if other people do it or if I come on their channel and they do it or they come on my channel and they do it. I don't really care, but I also like to think of it as like I never know who's going to be watching my channel and I don't really want to be cursing in front of kids. Like I try to have a fairly like family friendly type channel. So,
Fair enough. I mean, um, yeah, I just kind of I don't know. Like my grandma watched one of my videos once. She's like, "I curse so much." I kind of watched back some of my videos. I'm like, "Do I though?" Then again,
not a lot.
then again, my grandma. Then again, like I don't think my grandma really like watches a bunch of my videos. So it's like, yeah, what are you gonna do?
You're like, which one did you watch? Because it depends.
Yeah.
How into this video was I? Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I curse in real life. I call it real life. um, but I don't know. I didn't curse before the Marine Corps though, fun fact. So that's how that happens.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, I know they you know, this is probably very insensitive to ask, but like were you in like any combat situations or were you just like stationed just like in like Germany or something?
No, I I actually am medically retired out of the Marine Corps, which is
Mm.
like a big thing I say on my channel. But so I was in for 3 years, but I went to the schoolhouse, which my schoolhouse is relatively long, and I was there for like 2 years in that schoolhouse, and had some medical things happen to where I had to be stationed somewhere else to receive better care. And yeah, that was kind of like my Marine Corps experience. Not super exciting. Just kind of,
Okay. Yeah,
was what it was. But
that happened to my cousin. She joined the Marines, passed all the like physical stuff, and then it was like, "Oh, you have kind of a hole in your heart." So yeah, we're going to have to let you go.
you're gonna have to leave
Sorry.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, you still get all the
Yeah.
benefits. And she's like, awesome. So, she's back home now.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to stay in the Marine Corps because it was like it was my dream for a long time. For many years it was, and then it was all just gone. But now my dream is to be a translator. So, you
Another
win
one of
some, you
my
lose.
friends was a similar way. He wanted to join the Navy. And like the first day he was there, someone like fell on him wrong and he like dislocated his shoulder. And then they're like, oh, yeah, you're discharged. Sorry. And he's just kind of,
Wow.
yeah.
That's quick. The
Yeah.
Marine Corps would not get rid of you that easy. They'd be like, all right, let's rub some dirt on it, get back out there.
Yeah, no, from what my cousin was telling me about it, it's not a it's tough. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Yeah, but
What was it she called it? It was called like Hell Week, where they were just like running across the woods with stuff, and and they had to like climb stuff or something like that, and it was nuts. But she passed it.
oh. Uh we have the Crucible, which is like 2 to 3 like whole days of barely sleeping and then doing a whole bunch of stuff. Um and then we have I think we called it Warrior Week, where you're out in the woods and you're like navigating and you are climbing stuff and doing different courses and stuff. You're doing them during the daytime and during the nighttime, like in boot camp and stuff.
Oh yeah.
hmm And then like then we also have Marine combat training after that, and then I don't like remember much of that at all. So,
It was just a
but
blur.
it feels like so long ago now. Yeah, yeah. I mean that was in 2020, beginning of 2020 for me. So it feels like forever ago now.
Yeah, no, my cousin, her boyfriend's visiting right now. He'll be here in after Christmas, and we watched UFC the other night, so it was fun.
Oh heck yeah! I have been speaking of watching things. Have you watched Hajime no Ippo?
No, I don't think I've
Do you
even
watch
heard of
anime
it.
at all?
I've watched some. Like there's stuff like Death Note that I really enjoy, and like Cowboy Bebop, but like. And I also watched the live action One Piece. I watched first season with a friend of
Okay.
mine, and I liked it. And he's like, "Hey, that's 100 chapters in the manga," and I'm like, "That's insane. What are they
It goes by
doing?"
so fast.
I was about to
It
say,
goes by
like,
so
I was
fast.
just thinking, I'm like, what are they doing? And those, like, this was in 8 episodes, and I got what was going on just fine. Like, what are they screwing around? He's like, there's some filler. I'm like, some? Yeah, so I haven't read the manga though, so.
I am on volume 25, I think. So like 200 something chapters in, but to 1000. So I feel like I haven't even made a dent into One Piece, but I enjoy just taking a break because I've been very intimidated by it. But I have been watching anime, just not One Piece, because I don't want to watch One Piece. I want to read it because that's how I started with it. But Hajime no Ippo's boxing anime,
Oh,
and it's just done so well. And it is older, and there are some episodes that you can tell are done by different artists because the style will literally change from like scene to scene. And it only happened for like 2 episodes, but they I guess didn't have the funds, but it's got that older style of anime which I really like. And the story is just so good. Like I'm obsessed. Like I just started it last week and I'm on episode like 55. But they're only like 24 minutes. So they're fairly short
oh yeah,
episodes.
I've also watched. Well, I read it first, and then I watched Monster.
I want to read Monster. A lot of people on my manga channel have been recommending Monster to me.
It's really good.
Monster Frieren, I started reading. Um Vinland Saga, I have what's the other one? Vagabond, one of my husband's favorites.
I read the first volume of that, and I was kind of just scrolling through it, and I'm like, this is confusing, and then I realized I was reading it backwards,
That
which
sucks.
which is forwards in our world, because we're left to right, and in manga it's right to left usually, and I was just kind of like, I'm an idiot. I'll have to read this again at some point.
I could see how that would kind of put you off towards it because you're like, well, now I know the end of this volume, and it's a fairly big book.
Yeah, no, like because I read a lot of like American comics, and American comics is right to left, or not right to left, it's left to
Mhm.
right, or just regular books out here in America.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Have you read the Invincible stuff? I feel like a whole bunch of people have been reading that.
Yes,
The
I have
American
it back
comic.
there. I keep trying to get Tom Orange to read it because he has that glorious mustache, and
I thought he was reading it.
or is he? I hope so. It's good to see you.
He's talked about it at least. I don't know if he's officially started it, but he's talked about it. I think he might have the omnibus. I think Preacher has it. Maybe he's read it or
Oh
is
yeah,
reading it.
I know Preacher's been reading this because he was sharing some panels the
hmm
other day. He's like, "Bro, this is so awesome." I'm like, "Oh, buddy, you haven't even gotten there yet." As I was turning the
Oh,
full
tell
like,
me about it because I have never really been into American comics, but
well, I mean, it's kind of the Spider-Man story. It's kid gets superpowers, and it turns into this kind of like space opera thing because it turns out his dad, which this is like early on, so You know what? Should I say it? Well, I'll just say his dad isn't who he says he is, and
Okay.
things get a little kooky from there, and it's quite good.
That's fun. Okay.
And it's also nice because it's like you don't need like a bunch of tie-ins or anything. You can just read it from
Mm-hmm.
beginning to end. I recommend getting the compendiums, which are those 3 big phone books back there.
Those are huge.
Yeah,
That's really intimidating.
yeah, but it's a very quick read. You can, you'll, though the spines are kind of, because I was actually flipping through it last night because I was rewatching the show, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How does the show compare to the books?
It's interesting. They're actually pretty close, except because Kirkman, the guy who wrote it, he's doing the show, and he's kind of approaching
Mhm.
it from like I'm gonna rewrite some stuff, or maybe not rewrite it, but maybe like kind of play with it a little bit. Maybe refine it.
Mhm.
Um, so I do think the show starts a lot better than the comic, because the comic is, you can tell he's kind of figuring out what he's wanting to do. Um, and he kind of finds it, a little later on, or not later on, but but it takes a minute for it to get going. Um, but yeah, no, but it's pretty close. Aside from they expand on some stuff in the show.
Okay. I'm always interested to hear about like adaptations versus their original content because there have been so many that miss. Then more oftentimes than not, they miss. So,
There's some comics I really enjoy, and they've had adaptations, and like some of them aren't bad. They just get canceled because the idiots at like Amazon or whoever don't know a good idea when they have one freshly presented to them. It's just
I
it's agonizing. And also like
like
when Netflix
Netflix.
tried to
Oh
do
my god.
Cowboy Bebop a few years ago. I'm like, that's a terrible idea. Why are you trying to interfere with perfection?
Netflix, they kind of pissed me off when they made Damsel with Millie Bobby Brown, cuz it's
Oh,
like
the
it's like a YA fantasy movie
the
is what I would call
fantasy.
it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
It
yeah.
sucks so bad. It it's so bad. I hate it so much. It's garbage. And what upsets me about this is that there are so many good fantasy books out there that you could try to get with the author and, put some love and time and effort into this. It felt so like such an effortless film, and the plot was garbage. Like you knew everything that was going to happen and you didn't care about literally anybody in the story. And it was boring.
It's
And I
like,
hated
oh,
it.
she's a girl. She's like, oh, she's a girl boss. Oh, I couldn't have seen that coming. Oh, she
That's
falls in love
basically
with
the
that
plot.
handsome dude. Oh man, didn't see that.
Handsome dude sucks, I guess. Or that one guy sucks and the family sucks. And then you're like, cool. And the villain is not a super convincing villain. Like the plot isn't convincing. It's just kind of bleh. And that's just how I would describe that movie. I would say that I want people to watch it so that they can rage with me. It's one of those. It's like that's how bad this movie is that I want people to watch it so they can talk with me about how not good it is. That's also kind of how I felt about Avatar 2, The Blue People.
Oh yeah, I didn't like the first film, so
I liked the first
I
one.
swore off all the other ones because it just pissed
I
me off
liked
so
the
much.
first one. The second one is basically just the first one again,
I
but prettier. And that's like the only good thing about the movie is that it's prettier. And well, okay, and there are more like cultures of avatars, which I thought was cool. Like there are some good ideas in it, but the plot is not good. The plot is actually really bad. So Jake pissed me off in that movie. When me and my friends got out the theater for that, we were like, okay, so this is just the first movie regurgitated. but just prettier with different like cultures and stuff. But just because it's a pretty movie with great graphics and CGI doesn't mean it's good. And I think a lot of people didn't look past the how beautiful it was, and that the movie makers knew that that was going to happen, and that was their whole plan, was to
Yeah,
be
it's
lazy with the
just
writing and then put all their money into what it looks like.
yeah. I mean, I won't go into the Blue People Avatar movie because that film just angers me to an irrational level. Um, but yes, I see what you mean. I'll just leave it there.
What's the reasoning for that?
It's just I'll just put it this way, it's a story that's been told dozens of times in much better movies and books and shows, and all honesty, he doesn't do anything that interesting with it. And the fact that
That's
he
fair.
is just not has not seen reality and gone, this is dumb. I could make other really great action movies. He's like, no, I'm gonna double down on the Blue People. I won't go there. I'm not.
Like what, 9 or 15 years later? I don't remember how long ago it was, but it was a long time ago. And he decided,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna do the sequel now.
He waited for the technology to change. I'm just like, oh my god.
He had all that time to make a good plot. All that time. Spoilers for Avatar 2. You're never gonna watch it, right?
No.
The villain is the same villain, reincarnated.
Yeah, then he turned into like a blue person or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sure that's real stupid, and I'm not gonna watch it because people are like, oh, what if it's good? And I'm just like, the first movie wasn't like.
Yeah,
I know what I'm gonna get.
One of the children gets like significantly more screen time than the other one. And then the one that gets the least amount of screen time, that's the one that dies. And I'm like, well, you made me not care about him by filming it this way. So why am I supposed to care? Like, people were like, oh, it's so emotional. I'm like, we knew nothing about him. Why would I care? I don't know. Sometimes I can be a little harsh when it comes to like movies, not as much. Definitely books. Like, I don't really cry as much in books or care as much when characters die. Depending on the book, depending on the series, depending on how long I've known the characters. But like Avatar, it was really weird because I get a little more emotional for movies, and I felt nothing except anger because I'm like, you literally made the plot to make him not important. So
Yeah, it just feels contrived at that point.
yeah, I could just
Apparently, the new one's
rant.
coming out. I'm like, I'm not watching that
There's
because
a third one.
yeah,
Oh, I guess that makes sense because they did. Yeah, okay, it makes sense because they did open up a lot of avenues to make a third one, but I feel like it's
yeah. This
also
is
gonna
like
suck.
James Cameron's magnum opus. So yeah, they're making a third one. Even though I'm just like, dude, you should have just seen the writing on the wall. No, nobody's telling him no anymore. That's the problem. Like when the
Yeah,
director has such clout, you can't tell him no. This happens to authors too. Like
yeah,
you
I've
know
been seeing that.
where you don't have a. That's why the guy who tells the other guy no is so important because you don't get crap like Avatar or like Stephen King's
Yeah,
last couple books. I mean, I haven't really read Brandon Sanderson's books, so I can't really comment on that. But I've heard people complain about similar things with Brandon Sanderson. So
yeah, that's what I've been hearing too. And Stephen King, I still have been refusing to read him. Um,
he's very good,
so
I think.
I think it's just that the scene he puts in it with the
Oh yeah,
children,
that can't really avoid that
that
scene.
I feel like not enough people talk about it, and I feel like with him putting a scene like that in a book for no reason, like not important to the plot, just very random.
Well, no, it,
It
it was it was so they could like better connect with each other or something. I'm like, dude, there could have been a better way to do that. I know it's weird. I'm not.
Yeah, that makes me not want to read him at all as an author. Like, even though it's just like one scene in one book, it sounds so traumatizing that I'm like, if he can write that, uh, no. So I may get convinced another time otherwise, and I'm like, there are so many other authors I would rather read that
I
don't
mean,
do
you know,
stuff
if you
like
want to
that.
read like 11/22/63, there's no scenes like that. And I mean, okay, he does meet the it children, but there's no weird like sex stuff in that book. So
Yeah, I feel like it's just one of those. It's like when you find something out about an author and you're like, ooh, I don't know if I want to read their books anymore
mm.
based on something. And it kind of feels like that for me.
Well, I mean, as far as I know, Stephen King hasn't done anything
It
super
might have
weird.
been while he was on drugs. So, I mean,
Well, he was on drugs when he did it, so I mean that explains the like
yeah,
cosmic turtle
cocaine, right?
stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I watched the more recent movie on it. So, I mean, that was good. I don't really like horror, though. So, I mean,
Oh, okay. And I mean, you don't. I mean, I think
there's also that.
Stephen King hasn't written just horror, which just kind of annoys me when I
No,
go to bookstores and they just slap all of his books on horror. I'm just like, 11 twenty
yeah,
two sixty
because he
three,
wrote
not horror. Shawshank Redemption,
Fairy
not horror.
Tale, Dark Tower.
Dark Tower, not horror. Has horror elements,
Yeah.
not horror.
Yeah.
Frickin' marketing. That's all I gotta
I
say about
know.
that.
I know. Yeah. Publishing, marketing, we could go on for days about that because there are so many things wrong with it and it's just all for money and it ruins the
Yeah,
art
it's like,
or at
oh, there's
least
this
the
fantasy
perception of the art.
romance thing, and I'm like, oh god. Like I tell you right now, I read like the first couple I read like the first couple chapters of Fourth Wing, and there were just so many things about the world building that made no sense whatsoever. And I'm like, I'm not gonna like this book. It is not for me. I just am gonna put it down and say I gave it a shake, and just not
I
go for it.
listened Yeah, I listened to about half of it probably. Um
I mean, the one thing that bothers me is why are you giving these weapons of mass destruction and entrusting them to the children of the people who betrayed you in the backstory? Like that that makes no
Slaves.
sense.
They're slaves.
Just boggles the mind. What were you thinking when you again, that's why you need people that you need the people who say that's a stupid idea because someone could have just tapped her on the shoulder and been like, "Hey, that's dumb. Don't do that." You know.
One of the things for me that really pissed me off was that the main character was talking about her disability so much and how her mother was so mean to her about it. And then there's a scene where her mother sticks up for her, but it doesn't make sense. And it feels like the author wanted to put something in the mother's mouth because the author wanted to say it about the disease because it's also something the author has.
Isn't it
But it
like
didn't make any
brittle
sense for
bone
the
disease or
mother.
something?
It's no, it's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Doesn't it have to do with bones?
It's a connective tissue disorder.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then the one part I just laughed because it was just so like I called it is when she's like, "Hey, the lead head honcho guy who was the son of the traitor, like, hey, don't mess with that guy. He's super sus." And then she starts oogling this dude while on this like on her
Yeah.
little trip. And then guess what? It's that guy. I'm just like, this is freaking crazy, man.
That is like such a common thing that I hear about in romantasy is
And I'm like,
falling in love with the villain. But he's like not even a villain.
he's like, oh, it's the bad boy. You know, I'm just like, this is so stupid.
Essentially. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what? Are they gonna bang? And then I end up learning later, it's like, oh yeah, they bang. And then it's like they're like connected to the
I never got to
dragons.
that part.
And then it's just like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of glad I mean, I'm not a prude by any means, but I'm like, I'm I think I
Yeah,
dodged a
you're like,
bullet
you know
there.
what? Maybe that is the line for me. You're like, that maybe that's too far.
Yeah, it's like when
I
I
have a
read this.
third cat on my desk now.
It's like when I read a book called it's called Eileen. It's about this like young lady who
She
lives in a
leans.
small town, is kind of repressed in some ways, and she's kind of just living this very bland existence. And like, there's a lot of chapters where she's talking about like thoughts she has like sexually, we'll say. And I'm like, if a man wrote this, he would get blasted on the internet and chased out of publishing, basically. Like, you know,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't.
that
I
that's
think
also a
I
problem.
think there's a double standard there, is what I'm saying.
There is because women are seen as empowering themselves, and men are seen as creeps. And
Yeah, it's like
there's got to be some sort
if I
of
wrote like a scene of a lady touching herself, like it's in Eileen, like I'm
oh
telling you right now, like I would get chased out of the room with like
yeah,
pitchforks on the
that's
internet,
yeah, and I feel like
or saying
as
I'm
a
like a
person who
problematic
doesn't
beta male cuck. That's where we're at. That's where we're at in society. But if like a woman does it, she's like, "Yes, queen, tell it," and you're like, "This makes no
Ugh.
sense." Like,
No, you're right though. You're right. I don't like it either way. And I think maybe that's where
even
I
when
can
it's
stay
like a
neutral. So
guy
I don't
just
like
doing like guy things, like jerking off or whatever. Even that, people are like, "What the
I don't
fuck
want
is
to read
wrong with
about that.
you?"
Like no one wants to read about
I mean,
that.
okay, fine. Like, it's an
I
awkward
don't want to
thing.
say no one, but most people don't want to read about that.
It's like, that doesn't make you a
Hopefully.
pervert. It's just thing people do sometimes. Like,
And that's fair. That's it depends on how it's written because I feel like there are times where some things are in books and it makes you uncomfortable, but they're like real life things. But that doesn't mean that I want to read about that.
I mean, that's fair, and that's fair. I'm not saying like that's not. Let me be
Yeah.
clear. I'm not saying like you don't have.
Everybody should read this.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like there's like a double standard about like, oh, he's kind of a weirdo. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. The double standard's definitely there, and I hope that more people come to realize that. Because there's been the double standard like in real life for women all the time, women versus men, um, having intercourse with people or whatever. And now it's within fiction, but the other way around. And it's really interesting that that's going the way it is. Uh, but yeah, I like to say that I'm fairly neutral on it because I don't like it either way. So
Now, like I said, that's fair. I'm not like trying to say like, hey guys, you know what
no,
we should
I don't
do?
know.
We got to be equal about this. Just have sex all. I'm not saying that. I'm just going like, there's a weird like when women do like weird sexual stuff, they're like, "Yes, queen, go get him,"
Go
girl
get him,
boss.
stalk him, show up at his house, break in. Yeah.
And it's like when I
Yeah.
read like 50 Shades of Grey a long time ago, I'm just like, I mean, okay, like that's fine. It's kind of toxic though, but whatever. I guess women
That's
like. I guess
basically
some people like that.
maybe that's what started dark romance because dark romance is like way worse than that.
Yeah, no, unless you're like, I have friends who are in like BDSM or whatever, and they're like, oh, that's child's play, bro. I'm like, oh well, okay.
I think there are a lot of people who like to read about it, but they don't like with dark romance, they don't align with those people. They just like to read about it
Well,
for
that's
the
fine.
drama.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not saying like that's bad or anything. It's just kind of like, okay,
Not for you.
not for me. No.
It's not for me either. Which is okay. But I will watch shows like Love Island where people are just stupid and I recognize that they're stupid, but I like the drama sometimes.
Well, yeah, I mean that's like reality TV, isn't it? That's like
Yeah.
it's part of the point, you know.
Yeah, but they're all like usually not super great people, not super great to each other. And it's a very vain show.
Well, of course it is. It's about like you know, narcissistic people who I don't know, but it's just I don't know, but yeah, no,
How did we get here?
I don't know, I don't know. We were talking about romantasy, and it just kind of went off the rails
That's
from
just
there.
kind of yeah, but
But
that's
going
how it
back to
goes.
Fourth Wing,
Unscripted.
I read like the first like maybe 3 or 4 chapters. I'm like, there's so many holes in this story that make no sense whatsoever. I can't really give it a fair shake, so I'm gonna have to put this down.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who say that, especially about like the second book, I think. Like it's worse in terms of plot holes and also writing. So I didn't like the descriptions, especially like of like there's just some cringy stuff in it. I think that's the book where she goes, "Oh, he's hot. He's hotter than hot like the sun, hot like you want to get
That's
in
right. Yeah,
trouble
I
and
remember
you." Yeah,
reading
like
that
I
and
was like
just absolutely just cackling mad. It was
I was like, "Who let her publish this?
again,
Who let her
that's
say
why
that?
you need
That's
people.
embarrassing."
That's why you need people who could sit down and go like, "That's a stupid idea. Don't do that." You know.
Yeah, because that's it was not that was not good. And Fourth Wing, like honestly, it was kind of boring. Like it just didn't really like catch my attention like that. Like I listened to the first like half of it probably on graphic audio, which one of the audios I swear is AI because it does not sound like a real person unless that's what they were going for. But that's just what Hoopla or Libby had at the time. So that's what I decided to use.
I remember
And
I listened to part of Lonesome Dove a long time ago because I was just kind of because I sometimes like to listen to audiobook samples, and the dude sounded like he had emphysema. It was crazy. Like he was like, and then he went to the pigs. I'm just like, bud, you need an oxygen tank over there. Like, what is this? Apparently, there's another
this is
one
the
that's
last thing he does.
and like Lonesome Dove's a great book, by the way. Like, you know, goated book. But like yeah, that audiobook was not it, man.
That was another book that's who writes on some Dove?
Larry McMurtry.
Larry McMurtry. So it's Larry McMurtry and Cormac McCarthy. Those are like two authors to hear a lot about that I just haven't gotten into their works yet, but I want to. I want to follow the Great V train on that.
Yeah, I read Lonesome Dove last year and I quite enjoyed it. It's a real good book. Couple trigger
Okay.
warnings because I mean it doesn't hold back on how harsh life was in the in the West, but it's a good book. Excellent
That's
book.
fair. I guess it depends on the trigger warnings, but probably check it out sometime. I think my husband started reading that one too. He'll like pick and choose and read some of this and some of that and some of this and go, this is really good. This is really good. This is really good.
Yeah, I mean I read it last year and it's really good. I read it with some friends of mine and I went on their channel
Okay.
and I put a poll. I'm like, ah, should I do a review? Because I already, kind of did that whole discussion, and everyone's like, yes, you should, Britton. Don't be crazy.
Always, when there's the opportunity to make content, you make the content.
Yeah, my audience is. I think audiences just like the troll. They're the creators sometimes.
Yeah, but that's the fun of it.
Cause like I did the Fourth Wing as a thing I was doing called like What's the Big Fuss. I did it last year where it's basically me picking up popular books. I quit after one because I realized I'm like I can't do this. Like it was a fun little experiment, but didn't really go anywhere. Um and yeah, they overwhelmingly chose Fourth Wing. I'm like, yeah, they're just fucking with me at this point. Like it's not even
Did
come
you put
on.
Akatar in the running too?
No, I
No.
didn't. It was like Fourth Wing and Wheel of Time and like something else.
They didn't want you to have a good time.
No. They're
So you
like,
still want to read Wheel Time, maybe eventually?
yeah, no, they wanted me to just suffer.
Yeah,
They were just like, Britton, you're not gonna enjoy yourself. You're just gonna have to deal with it. I'm like, yep.
they're like, you know what we want to watch? You having a bad time.
So yeah, we'll just watch you cringe for our entertainment. That's
Alan, Alan's Akatar
oh man,
blogs, love. If you want to watch something so fun and him have such a bad time.
yeah. I don't I'm not really I'll just say I'm not a fantasy romancy boy, if you will.
I'm not either. And what's funny is I I will watch that side of YouTube though just to hear about it. But I don't I will like watch these usually women talk about these books and then I'll go, "Oh yeah. Okay. I'm never reading that book. Doesn't sound good." Yet when I'm on kind of like our side of YouTube, I'm like, "Oh, that book sounds good. That book sounds good. That book sounds good." And then you have people like Jimmy and Tom, who I feel like they're really good about going out of the fantasy genre and then picking some obscure type books that I haven't heard about before.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that vein, but people are like, whatever, idiot, like get out of here. And then I see like Jemmy talk about it, and like, oh, cool, we should check this out. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
That's kind of funny because that's you and Alan are in the same boat then, because Alan's always complaining about that, where he's like, I've been telling everybody to read, like, what is it, The Long Price Quartet, and then someone else says it, and then everyone wants to read it now.
Yeah, no, right. I haven't read Long Price Quartet yet. I actually picked up damn it, what's it? It's the Towers of Babel series. I read the first book, liked it, and I was just like, not really much more I want to read about this. And then I
But
just,
that
at least for
one,
right now, and I put it down for a bit.
I've heard that people really don't like the last book in that series, so I would be nervous. I haven't when I hear like the last book in a series is really bad, I just won't want to pick up the series at all. And that's that one for me. The Long Price Quartet, though, I think I would pick that up.
Sorry, I was
Oh,
sorry, I
you're
got
fine.
distracted by something.
That's
Um,
okay.
I got distracted by something. Um, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I'm always finding new stuff to read from watching BookTube, whether it be fantasy or science fiction or well, whatever genres catch my
General
interest.
fiction. Yeah. I need to read general fiction. I just haven't. Or literary fiction. I mean, I started my reading journey with Crime and Punishment. I always like to tell people about that.
How was
Because they're like,
that?
why would you do that? I
Heard,
feel like I wasn't a good enough reader at the time to really appreciate the themes that were in the book.
I've heard that's a
It was
like
very
pretty.
slow.
I don't want to say it's a difficult book, but I've heard it's complex and like dark and whatnot.
It's it's slow and very thematic based. So not really a lot of things happen. There's just a lot more on the emotional tolls of things
Mm.
that happen. And I definitely did not appreciate it the time I was reading it. I may appreciate something like that more now. Um, but I think I rated it like a 3.25 or 3.5 or something like that because it wasn't like a bad book. It just, at the time, I just didn't really super jive with it, but I did like the epilogue. And I did, it was like, okay, every 100 pages, something really interesting would happen. And I would get really interested again. And then it would just like fall off
Yeah, it was
and
kind of
just
like
be
my
like
experience with Gardens of
slow.
the Moon. I'd be like, oh, that's kind of interesting, and it just kind of meanders a bit, and then oh, puppet, you know. I think I might have given away too much, but there.
I think
Uh,
I like maybe I like some of the meandering sometimes, the slower pace
I mean, I don't
books.
mind it.
I
I
can
mean, you
enjoy
know, I love me a group of guys going out on an adventure, but you know, good lord.
looking at some trees and some mountains. That's the one thing. The one downside to Tolkien, you know that that man loved nature because of how much he described it, and I could not picture it in my mind because I am from Florida, and that's just sea level state. So I'm like, I've been I've been to a couple mountains before, but I'm really bad at trying to picture them because I haven't seen them very much. So when he describes these mountains and valleys and all this kind of stuff, I'm like, honestly, I can't picture it. Oh
That's
no,
fair.
time to watch the extended versions of the movies again.
Yeah, I think
They are
those
good.
those movies really introduced Lord of the Rings to a new generation.
I mean I grew up on the movies for sure and then read the books
I didn't watch them till middle
later.
school, so
I probably watched them as a kid because my parents liked them, like that, and Star Wars and The Matrix and stuff like that. Like my parents were into all that kind of stuff. I watched The Matrix as an adult, like last year. Hot take: I don't like it because for its time, it was very ahead of its time during its time. But now Matrix is just kind of like okay.
yeah, Lord of the Rings is like you're like, yeah, cool. I actually rewatched the movies not too long ago. I'm like, wow, this still holds up.
Lord of the Rings holds up. Matrix doesn't.
I've never really liked
Different
the
genres, but
I've never really liked the Matrix, so
I'm glad I'm not the only one because it's like my dad's favorite trilogy, and I don't like it.
yeah, no, I can't tell you how much shit I've gotten for criticizing the Matrix. They're like, oh, well, you were too young to appreciate when it came out. I'm like, that's nice, but I still don't like it.
There are, but you can say that, but then realize that those people have a nostalgia bias and that there are older movies that still hold up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Clue. I love that freaking movie.
It's a great film.
Love. One of the best like murder mystery movies I've
Mm-hmm.
ever seen. I love Goodfellas, like movies that hold up. Matrix just doesn't hold up. So
Yeah, everyone was all mind blown by the oh look he's doing that thing and he's like leaning down and it's like this is ridiculous. And also,
ugh.
when you've consumed as much sci-fi as I have and watched The Matrix, you know, it just didn't really connect with me.
I haven't consumed a lot of sci-fi, but I still didn't like it. But I'm not a super big sci-fi person at this point. So
Fair enough.
I'm trying, but fantasy has just been my main like go to, like my
Yeah,
comfort zone,
I think fantasy can be
my happy
easier than
place.
science fiction to get into because it's you know it's about magic, people like that.
Yeah, there's something about the writing too, and a lot of stuff in the medieval times and stuff like that, and getting away from technology rather than. But I did read Fahrenheit 451, which is considered a sci-fi, and I love that book. This is amazing. I think I read it in basically like one sitting.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like some of Bradbury's other books more, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I found his writing to be really captivating and intriguing. Like you just want to flip the page when you're
Mm-hmm.
reading his stuff. So, what other stuff do you like by him?
Um, I really like the Martian Chronicles, which is kind of his take on um, kind of interplanetary science fiction, if you will. Kind of like Barsoom, which is the Edgar Rice Burroughs books.
Okay.
And Something Wicked This Way Comes is probably my favorite of his books. It's about a dark carnival.
Oh, that sounds cool
Yes.
and scary.
It's not. I mean, it's basically like It, but it's not as dark as It gets. There's no weird child sex stuff, so that's good too.
We love that. We love when that's not in our books. Much preferred.
Oh man. Well, we've been going for a while, and I am starting to get hungry.
Yeah.
I usually eat dinner with my parents on Wednesdays, so I'm probably going to wrap
Well, I
things
don't
up
want to
here.
keep you from that. I had a
Oh,
bowl of soup before we were on this chat because I was like, okay, I got to be ready.
but thank you, Noelle, for joining me on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a blast. It's been really nice just chatting with someone about just all sorts of things. So I really like that.
Well, as I like to do before the end of these things, if you have any like social media or anything, you can share it.
Just my 2 YouTube channels, Noelle Elbaf and Noelle D Reads.
I don't know if I'd consider Discord, but she's on Discord too. So
I'm also on Discord. I will start linking that in my bio, or not in my bios, but in my YouTube videos in case anyone wants to collab with me. Because if you find me on Instagram and send me a message, I may not look at it for a long time.
yeah,
Because I'm really bad at responding to people on Instagram.
yeah. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and until next time.